Zoom
So
can be beat. We're back. We're back.
you want to wait for a few people to jump in, do their thing?
Sure. Sure.
All
Uh,
right. Well,
Again, I appreciate you being patient. I know this can be a little discouraging sometimes, that's for sure.
I've never really, I've never used Zoom. I've tried that StreamYard and all that, but I've never
This
used
happened
Zoom.
this happened the other night with Father Mike.
Right. Well, hopefully we can figure it out. And
Says we're live.
all right. So is this just something? Uh, is this like a side job? Do you do this for a job?
Nope, this is not a job. This is just a hobby.
Okay.
I started doing this on the Michigan Bros Grow Show, and I don't get it. It says we're live, but it just came back up. Confused. Huh.
I can
Sorry
hear
about that.
you.
Yeah, it says we're live, but then it came back up with another window that says go live, and it still says we're live. Hmm. I'm confused. I know my screen says we're live, but my browser's being stupid. Well, let's
Is
see what.
it is it asking to cast it to or meeting on YouTube?
Let me see. Live stream. Yeah, it's live. We're live.
All right. Well,
I believe so. Stupid thing. This streamed 33 minutes ago. Ah, says we're live, but my window's saying we're not live. They're probably all laughing at me in chat, which I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't blame them at all. It says right there, it says, I don't know. It says part two. I don't know. This is fucking stupid.
yeah, it says you're live on YouTube.
Is it?
It
I just
says
can't see my browser at all.
here. Maybe I can look you up, see if we're going.
That's a good idea. Check my phone.
Yeah, it says you're live on YouTube.
Yeah, we're live. All right, guys, I'll just run with it. I don't know what the hell's going on here with my browser. It's another fun Zoom night.
All right. So you just want me
But
to
yeah,
start all over?
that's up to you. Yeah, if you want to. If not, I totally understand. Uh, I think we were kind of left off on how you were using your medicine, basically. But if it makes you feel better to get the rhythm back going, then you could, yeah, start right back over.
All right. Well, all right. Well,
This is
I'm an organic grower. I like using amendments, cover crop, companion planting. Now I'm using a lot of companion planting this year just because I ran into some problems with some aphids, and yeah, so I found out that some like yarrow and other companion plants that I'm going to be using is going to help, detour that and hopefully bring some other benefits to the garden. So, trying to create a nice ecosystem outside that's going to be all beneficial. But um, yes, the use of my medicine, like using the Rick Simpson oil. That's definitely been a fast actor. You know, I don't want to sit around and, I guess, chief down all day just because I am taking care of 2 kids. And you never really have 5-10 minutes to sit there and burn a joint when you have kids. So I use my Rick Simpson oil and get that in my system, and that helps out with spasms and other things. So you ever try Rick Simpson oil?
I've used it a few times, but never, as a steady thing. Just as, sometimes, to be quite honest, before tattoos, it really helps with the pain for the tattoos.
Right. Yeah. Yep, I like using that just on the daily. Just definitely helps me get to bed, helps me rest. Usually I only sleep about 2 to 3 hours if I don't use it. So I usually thought I had another one right here. And I just put it in a syringe and then either put it on my food, put it on my finger, or just, yeah, just eat it.
How long have you come up to like a point? I asked this of Tribal Gardens the other night. If he came to a point where you get a tolerance to it, is
Oh
there
yeah.
come a point with it where it's not so strong for you? Because I know when I've taken it and I've given it to my patients, their first initial month or so, they're pretty well knocked out.
Oh yeah.
Uh, how long
Yeah.
before you got past that phase?
Oh, it was probably maybe a good month, 2 months, but now I can, take a good fingerful and, it does the job. But it's not about, getting high with me. It's definitely about controlling the issues. When I have spasms that'll stand me straight out in my wheelchair and, uncontrollable. So, uh, definitely about controlling the issue instead of getting high. But everybody likes to enjoy the buzz, so that's why I like my dabs.
We briefly, I remember exactly where we left off. I was asking you which strains you found useful for it, and I believe you mentioned Bruce Banner. You found
Yes.
helpful.
I got a Bruce Banner number 3 and an original Bruce Banner. Uh Gonna try those out. Now I tried the strain out through a dispensary and I liked it. It helped out with tons of pain. So I just decided to run it myself this year. So hopefully no outdoor issues occur. But
Do you
this
have
year,
any?
go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, you're the star here. You speak. Usually I tell people before the show that if I interrupt, to just steamroll over me. But it was my bad. We didn't get that chance to. So
This year
please.
in the garden, I've got Durban Poison, Gluckies, Bruce Banner number 3, the original Bruce Banner, Green Crack, Gorilla Glue number 4, Chocolate Skunk, Amnesia Lemon, Grape Headband. And most of them, like I said, are for all focused on pain, depression, and uh, some of the negative things that I have wrong, so hopefully, yes. Hopefully we have a good season this year. Now I've been stocking up on things to help detour the fungus, like the amazing Dr. Zymes. Got some help from them and just using a lot of compost this year just to uh, help enrich the soil, so been stocking up on, got like 4 tons of compost. Got about 3,000 pounds of worm casting, so I can make my compost or my worm tea and all that, just because there's a lot of enzymes and worm tea that's going to help fight fungus. And that's the idea.
Sounds like you got a lot of work over there. Holy cow. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
I, I've seen your indoor gardens. Your indoor gardens are on very much on point as well. But let's keep talking about the outdoor. It is that season. Can you drop as many tips as you can for a
Well,
prospective outside person,
see,
if you
like
could?
outdoors, I have an area to where, well, I raise goats too. Now I got goats, yeah, for animal purpose, but I use them to fertilize my ground. So as soon as it's harvested, I put my goats in there. I got 9 goats to fertilize the grounds until April. Then I take that out, clean out the straw, all that, condition the ground with my alfalfa meal, my kelp, uh, and then I can, dig my holes, condition my holes with alfalfa meal and kelp, and uh, then I use my supplements of azomite and diatomaceous earth, and then my bottled nutrients. Now, everybody's got their own personal preference of bottled nutrients, but I went with A and B, advanced nutrients. So that is something that, yes, I still see that I need, even using my amendments. So I kind of use my amendments to get me in between the feedings. So I like using a lot of bat guanos also. Just one second. Sorry, I have to turn off these damn fans. Got like 5 fans going, can't really hear you.
I can't even. I mic off it while you're talking, just so I'm not my mic's not messing with you. That's probably you
Oh,
can't hear me. It's not you at all. I can hear you loud and clear.
yeah. So, yes, using the goats and stuff to add fertilizer and stuff to the ground, just so, I don't have to use a lot of bag nutrients and shit like that to replenish it. So,
Man, you are a hardworking guy. You're no stranger to hard work. It sounds like that's for sure.
I definitely just try to, well, besides my garden, I try to encourage my kids to get out and do something other than video games. Definitely.
That's pretty awesome because I know I have a hell of a time getting mine off the couch to do anything. That's for sure. But that's besides the point. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're getting yours off the couch.
Oh, we,
Um,
we
so are you able to get by with most of your outdoor season?
oh yeah. Yeah. Uh it last year it kind of ran up to where I was running pretty close, but uh hopefully this year with the prevention with the amazing Dr. Zimes, hopefully I don't get the blight problem. So there's a lot of water last year we had a lot of rain just because it was an El Nino season. So that brought a lot of extra rain to Michigan. So
How long
just
have you
trying.
been using the Dr. Zymes?
Uh, this is actually the first year outdoors, but I sat there and like really talked to the company, the makers. Hopefully, they're telling the truth, and they say it'll help with leaf septoria or blight. I'm not really too sure which one it is. They kind of both look the same, so they're both a fungus, both spore bound. And now I had a cottonwood tree that was just dropping leaves all over in my garden. So this winter knocked that out. That was a 30, 60-foot tree. You know, it was a big tree. So got that taken out. So there ain't no trash from that, just because cottonwood trees are known for blight. So knock out the issue.
I've never grown outdoors myself. How big of a plant would you suggest taming outdoors? Just like a 6 foot bush, or how do you
My plants,
go about? Yeah, how do you go about structuring your outdoor plants? You just let them
see, like
grow.
when it's, well, no, as soon as I get them outdoors, they go underneath their first cage. As soon as they get their first cage, then I just work on pretty much training it. You know, I don't, they get, I mean, there's a few plants that I just cannot control. Uh, I had a great ped band last year. I got like 14 foot tall, and yeah, it was just out of control. And yeah, I had I think an 8 foot tall fence cage around that, and it just blew up past that, then through the next cage. And uh, I have a 10-foot ceiling with chicken wire on it because I never intended them to get in that big, but I kind of found out that using that chicken wire that tall is kind of perfect for the growing structure of the plant, you know, keeping it from breaking and high winds and shit like that. So, you know, most of my plants get about 12 by 12 by, yeah, they get pretty big. Oh, can't
That's
hear you.
that's pretty good. That's a pretty good sized plant right there.
Yeah, most I've had them 16 foot tall, but you know, getting that tall, you know, it's hard to get a lot of the nutrients up to the top of the plant and then to the bud. So yeah, trying to keep them
How much
shorter.
how much you feeding a plant like that? I mean, how much? Yeah, how often? How much you feeding a plant that's
Usually about between 3 to 5 gallons, but I'll try to feed it, and then it's right after top dress it with my back guano, my alfalfa, my kelps, and all the way up till about pre-flower, and then I'll with the back guanos, and then I'll switch over to my flowering using my mammoth P and my phosphorus back guanos, and till about fifth week, and then yeah, most of them.
I was just are you able to look at chat at all? I was just curious. I was just I seen it lights up red on for me, when they mentioned me. And Michigan Bros Grow Show. I don't know if you were able to catch that, but they had a nice episode there. It was about 2 weeks ago with the lady from Dr. Symes talking about their product. And she was very insightful. I don't know if you got a chance to catch that. If not, you should check that out.
All
But
right.
they also wanted me to point out you can save 10% on Dr. Symes if you use their code MBGS 010. Saves you 10% on that over there.
Sweet. Yeah, I get 25% off for an affiliate because I try
Nice.
to, yeah, I'm an affiliate to, I love growing marijuana, Amazing Dr. Zymes. I was to Food Fertilizer. There's a bunch of them, but yeah,
Make
try
sure,
to,
make sure and plug all that stuff before we're at the end too. You know what I mean? Make sure you get all the plugs at the end.
oh, definitely trying to. Just because, well, I try to make some videos and stuff for them, and, you know, that kind of helped out, but I try to inform the people about the products and stuff that I use and what I don't like and uh, uh, what works best. So,
Well, that was one of the reasons I'm getting you on here because I've really enjoyed your videos and I think they're very informative. And I've seen some of the plants you grow indoors, and they're impressive. You know, for indoor grow and obviously outdoors. I haven't looked in. I can't say I honestly seen like outdoor videos. But do you have videos of your outdoor? Or are you going to be putting some out there?
now I do have videos of last year outdoors. Uh, Last year, like I said, I had a issue with the blight and the septoria leaf spot. So yeah, there's probably at least like 30 videos
Well, it sounds like
of,
I've been missing out, buddy. I'm gonna have to go back tomorrow and go
well,
binge watch while I'm doing some trimming.
last year when I was doing my videos, it was more on YouTube instead of Instagram and YouTube, just because I was never big on showing off, my gardens, all that, just because, you know, I try to protect my kids as much as possible, and I don't want that's what the mask is for, just because I don't want the kids at my kids' school to come across this and start picking on my kids, your dad's a grower, and you know how kids are. So,
I can respect that. I can respect that. Mine are
and not
older.
not saying that the mask is going to do much or they're not going to recognize the wheelchair, but you know, I can only do as much as I can.
Well, I respect the fact that you're willing to put that information out there and help other people. That's to me. That's what it's about. It's helping other people get the knowledge to help themselves. Mainly to get them off them damn pharmaceutical drugs. Because I
That's what
know
I
I've
was.
lost a lot of family over pharmaceutical drugs, and so if I can help anybody in any way eradicate that shit out of their life, I'm more than willing. And I'm
Right
glad to
on.
see people like yourself getting information and videos out there, and it's great info. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, and I have a lot of people on Instagram that definitely try, or they hit me up, they ask me questions, and I stick with them. I don't just hit them up and help them once. They come back, let me know if it works, and that's what I like to hear. Just because there's certain things that they have a problem with their plants that I've never ran into, but just because I've never ran into the issue don't mean that I don't want to know the knowledge and I don't want to help somebody out. So I'm definitely out there looking up the information and
Well,
passing
can you throw it
along.
out there? Because they're already asking, brother. Purple Thumb OG right here is already asking, what is your channel and Instagram account? So you might
It's
as well throw it
MMM.
out there.
It's MMMP's Nations Creation on
On
both
both.
Instagram. Yep, both Instagram and YouTube. But definitely go check it out. Now I got some videos of last year. Uh, I just like doing some editing and some videos, throw a little bit of entertainment in there just because, well, some videos get kind of boring. But yes, most of my videos are trying to be most informative as possible about my style of growing, about my techniques, and how things that I've went wrong and found out that helps, and
Well,
yes, just
now's a good time to open door. You can talk about all that. I mean, we've talked. Do you want? Have you pretty much finished up all you would like to talk about outdoors? If so, then I'd be more than happy to, hear your indoor technique and processes. You can feel free to walk me how you would, do your thing indoors as well. Yeah,
Well,
we're open to hear
indoors,
all your tips.
I only veg indoors and then I flower outdoors. I've flowered indoors and stuff, but it's been a while, at least like 2 years, just because my outdoors kind of sustains me. And well, I kind of shut down the grow room for the rest of the year just so I can turn it into just say whatever it needs to be. Where this is right now, so my grow room right now is an area that I built to hold my wheelchairs. So this porch was
Them some
never in,
pretty big girls behind you, brother. them that's a good start on some outdoor right there. That is,
yes. So this room was never intended to be a grow room. It was a 20 by 16, and I started these plants about 3 weeks earlier than I did my plants that I started in 2018. And well, you see it, they exploded when I used my just everything that I have been using, the new technique and the dry amendments. And last year I had a little bit of a fungus gnat issue, so I went and talked to the feed mill. I got diatomaceous earth, started using the diatomaceous earth in my transplant mixture, and that knocked the fungus gnats out of the issue. And yeah, that's about it. Just between the amendments and not having the issue. Oh, and I got the new Caltalux lights. I love those 315-watt CMH.
yeah. Are they hot? I've never
Uh,
had the opportunity. I guess that's probably the one light style I've yet to run.
uh, I have 5 CMH and 5 1,000-watt full spectrum, and it's about 80 degrees in here on a hot day. But and then
I
yes,
wouldn't
that's with,
say that's bad at all.
well, I try to keep it at like about 60, 65. It got up to 80 degrees when my one fan shut off. I didn't get to put that out. My exhaust fan didn't work today, so it got up to 80 degrees, and that was the worst. So
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's right now I'm looking at it's 83 in my room. I'm not panicking. Well, it's 83 on the top of that light. That's
yeah,
pretty
see,
average up here.
I try to keep my plants in my grow room around like 73 to 75 tops, and it seemed to have been working a lot better than hotter rooms. So plants love it.
Obviously, they look like they're about 6 foot easy back there.
Here, let me move this bucket real quick, and I will see if I can roll up to the girls. Oh shit. Oh yeah. So these girls are,
Yeah, that's a good start on outdoor right there. Holy cow!
yeah, you can't really like
So how in the hell are that's a lot of harvest there. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, are you hang drying it there? Is that your process? Obviously, because who the fuck's got time? Excuse my language to trim bud like that, man, you'd have to be Edward Scissorhands to be taking down 12 by 12 plants like that. Man, I
Well,
think I'm a pretty
actually,
good.
I just give them like a good like country trim. It's just me or my own personal smoke, so I'm not taking it in no dispensary. I'll I'll actually leave like sort of a country trim. I call it a country trim on it, and I vacuum seal it. So and then I leave a little bit of trim on it just so when I am vacuum sealing it, it doesn't crush all the trichrome or crush all the pistils, doesn't just break off any trichomes. Then when I open it up and I smoke it personal, I give it that extra trim and you know keep all the trim for my hash and shit like that when I want to try to use it.
Right on. That was kind of where I was getting ready to go anyway. So obviously, you make your own. I Some people are. I try to be more politically correct just because I talk to so many people, and they said the term they say is FICO, but I believe you saying it right yourself. I mean, why not give it credit where credit is due by calling it Rick Simpson oil? I've never seen the harm in calling it Rick Simpson oil versus FICO, the full extraction, cannabis oil. It's just, I don't know. But obviously, you probably have to make your own because it would be terribly expensive to try to source it. So, can you try to walk us through an RSO method or your RSO method of making some?
Yeah, I get 99% medical grade alcohol for like $10 a gallon. So I'll get like 10 gallons of alcohol, take a couple 5-gallon buckets of flour, and uh now I use pure bud. I use pure bud, and I'll take a couple 5-gallon buckets, put it in my alcohol, or pour my alcohol into my flour, let it sit for a good hour, stomp it up, just mix it all up, and then pretty much strain it off into another 5-gallon bucket, and then get this refiner machine where it can collect your alcohol or just evaporate your alcohol and your RSOs in the bottom. Uh, use You could use a rice cooker or something like that, but I found getting it's like a water distiller. Uh, you take that, just fill it up, and make sure you're definitely outside. Just because vaporized alcohol, you will get drunk real quick, and just yeah, evaporate your alcohol and collect your RSO in the bottom of the container.
I'm glad you brought up the water distiller there because I have seen that on YouTube videos. That's how
Yeah,
and I thought, what a great way to reclaim your alcohol as
and
much as you
it's
can.
you
And
save
but
at
I'm sorry.
least you save at least 25%. But when you're working, I'm just saying, with 5-gallon buckets of alcohol, 25% out of a 5-gallon buckets, it's a lot. And then you can use that reclaimed alcohol for your second washing. Just because with your RSO, you're going to be doing your first 2 washings you can keep for your medical use. Your third washing you're going to keep for, just say, if you want to make soaps or topical lotions or anything like that. So your alcohol is definitely wanting to be saved. So 25% is a lot. So, and especially right now, you can't find no alcohol, and I can't even get the alcohol that I was getting for my RSO. So
You know, another fact that you brought up there, and I never really thought of, but it made sense as soon as you said it, is the fact of breathing the alcohol vapor. I know it's dangerous as being flammable, but I never really crossed my mind about breathing it in and getting drunk. And I guess that's a real possibility.
Oh yeah.
And my next question is, do you notice? Because I noticed a long time ago when I first watched the YouTube video about using the water distiller, I thought, it was genius. It was a much cheaper method than the source machine there. And I had brought it up to a few people, not mentioning any names, and they said the only, real difference between that and the source was running a lower temperature and not burning off as much. But do you notice that, a difference, a little bit higher difference in your final product? Obviously not. I mean, it seems to be
No,
working
I've
for
never
you.
used the other machine that you were talking about, but
It's expensive, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars difference.
yeah.
If you could use a distiller, well, that's what I'm saying. Why I'm like a home tech guy. If I can use something that's similar at home and save me a ton of money, like a good example, I guess, is like it's just simple phrasing when you're searching shit, like a bubble machine washer. You can get like it for hash. uh, if you type in like a bubble man washer or bubble machine washer on eBay, you're gonna get a machine that's like $200, maybe even more, and it's got a sticker that says Bubble Man or Bubble Machine or whatever on it. But if you type in travel washer in the same site, you will find the exact same machine without the sticker for like $60.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
Wow.
just travel washer. That's all you got to type in is travel washer, and it'll bring up the same exact machine without all the stickers on it for way less. So and then that's the idea with the distiller versus the source. If you can do a better home job for home sake, why wouldn't you save? Like I think the difference is like $600-700 to be honest
Oh
with you.
wow.
The
Well, see
last
that
time I checked.
that water distiller I got, it was I don't think it was $100. I think it was only like 75 bucks, something like that. So
Source the last time I checked was like $1,200.
yeah, that's crazy. Even when I was trying to get a press to press my bud and shit to get wax, I had to make one just because there's no way I can go out and spend $1,000 even to get my amendments and stuff, everything that I got, as soon as harvest is over, whatever I don't have left over, I then start, the 5 month hunt to collect all my stuff for the next grow season, just because I ain't got the money to go drop 5, 6, 700 bucks on all the amendments that I do use and have ran into. So
Yeah, that's every little bit that we can cut corners helps. That's for damn sure. I mean, for everybody.
yes, and that's why I'm using alfalfa, you know, alfalfa and kelp, just because it's a cheap, where I'm getting it right now, I'm getting it for 13 bucks a bag. So for 50 pounds. So I got a feed mill that's local and I get my cover crop, my companion plants, absolutely everything up there. So
What
take
type
for
of companion plants are you running and why?
oh, I'll read you off the list. So I have got, just off the top of the head, I have got um, yarrow, peppermint. I've got marigolds. I have got lemon balm, dill, chamomile, coriander, lavender, alfalfa, sunflowers, And now all of these have benefits of their own. Some have the same benefit as others, but there's a lot that are predator predator mite attractors or uh, mite deterrers. I just got a lot of things that are definitely going to be benefits to the garden. So trying to create a nice ecosystem outdoors that's just going to be helping the plants thrive, you know. So like I said, I ran into aphids last year. So that's my main goal. I wanted to get uh, my amendments and my companion plants to fight against that, you know, so I didn't have to use chemical eliminators.
How did exactly did you fight them aphids? I heard they were just terrible last year for outdoor. I know Rascal Farmers, another YouTuber, had a problem both last year and I believe the year before with aphids.
Now
Uh,
I use Captain Jack's dead bug. I think it killed it. It killed it like the first spray, you know. But before that, oh my goodness, before that, I tried every organic method on the internet, and you know, I ran into Captain Jack's dead bugs and it killed them on the spot. So
and as bad as I've heard that, I'm glad to hear that. But I'm glad, as bad as I've heard the aphids were the last couple of years outdoors, I can't imagine how bad that hemp aphid would, is gonna, is because they say that thing's just immune to everything. But
what?
I
What's
want
immune?
the hemp aphid.
Oh, yes.
It's like another, you know, spar off it. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to point out here, I love Jack. Do you know who Jack's Greenstock is? He's in chat.
Uh,
If you should follow him if you don't. He's part of the Cheap Home Grow show on YouTube there. He pointed out the fact that why they changed the name there on the RSO versus the FICO. He said it's because Rick himself kind of requested the change. He said in part he thinks that Rick regretted the use of the NAFTA versus alcohol in the recipe is why they prefer the change. I just wanted to relate that through. I don't know if you can able to watch chat or not, but
I
sometimes they
definitely,
throw in some great tips. He's definitely a great source. I call him the cannabis badass. That's man, he is man. That dude's just a source of fucking cannabis knowledge. You know, so
that was Jack's Greenstock.
Jack's Jack Green's talk. You know what I mean?
Greenstock. All right.
Yeah, he's on eight. He's on Instagram and Cheap Homegrown Show on YouTube, and he's got a lot of stuff. If you just Google him, he's got his own old podcast and webpage. But I keep telling him he needs to do books, and he's. I think I've got him about that close to put something out there. He needs to be. He's a great source. In fact, if you ever got caught up, I mean, I'd probably point you in that direction. He'd be a good answer. You know what
Right
I'm saying?
on. Yeah, I'll definitely go check him out.
So, yeah. What else do you want to go over? I'm enjoying this conversation and your story so far, and I'm willing to take any tips you got here. I'm sure
Oh,
everybody else wants to hear more from you as well. Which is a cheap
oh,
plug to just go check out his channel at some point.
definitely. Definitely go check that out. There's a lot more that I can probably uh tell you to go to if we're definitely talking on Instagram or something like that. But right now, kind of ran into a brick wall of thinking about anything. Yes, pretty much right now outdoors. Today I built a 6x8 sliding door for the garden. We're building a new entrance for the goat cage and the garden. So I wanted it big enough to where I could get my tractor in. So when we're just shoveling whatever it is, dirt, compost, I just get a bigger load of shit out. So yes, just putting in the work outdoors. So trying to get the holes 3x3 so I can fit a 10-gallon smart pot soil in there, and then the filling up the rest of the way with the compost and worm castings. So just trying to get stuff done.
Now's definitely the time. We get definitely early spring up here. I don't know where you're at, but usually we'd be still fighting some snow up here.
Where are you exactly at?
Okay, I'm just south of Grayling. All right, this is why I love Jack right here. He has set me some straight. It's been probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years since I checked in the source versus the distiller. And Jack's telling us now in chat that the source will reclaim 98% of your alcohol versus 25%. And what
Yeah.
he's also saying here in chat is that the source is down to $600. And I believe you can use the source indoors as well. But
Yes.
just throwing that out there because it sounds like it might be of a bit of a cost up front, but he might reclaim that in alcohol savings, very quick if you're making a lot anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna just say if you're making it for uh personal use or something, you know, recollecting that alcohol is everything. Especially, I'm just saying, if you're on a low budget, $600, and then buying your alcohol all the time, that's gonna where it's gonna save you. That'd be a investment.
Yeah, you being a YouTube, having your own YouTube channel, how to? I'm sure if you reached out to him, they might even extend you a deal. It's always worth that reach out. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't hurt.
Yes, that would be
You know what I'm
amazing.
saying? I would. I would MMP if I were in your shoes. I would definitely fucking be reaching out because I'm sure they'd be happy to help. Can't speak for the company, but usually in cases like yourselves, it's a good it's a good way to help them, help you help them. You know what I mean? It's a
Right.
win-win. It's a win-win. Win-win-win,
Later
as
on,
Skillbo says.
on Instagram, send me the name of what it is if you
Hmm.
can.
I will.
Uh, yes, because I'll definitely reach out. But
Yeah, Instagram is definitely a great tool for so much. That's for sure. It's definitely made this show possible. That's for sure. Reaching out and getting good folks like yourself to come on and tell their story. It's been huge. I don't think I'd be as far ahead as I am without Instagram as a tool. That's for sure.
yes, I've been using Instagram now for about a year now, I guess, steadily. So trying to lift the fear of putting out too much information.
I can understand that. Here's a good. Where can you source some good alcohol, medical grade alcohol?
Actually, I get it from my uncle, where he gets it from some. factory, and he gets it by the 55-gallon drum for like $550. So no,
It's for someone in your shoes that needs RSO. That's huge. That's huge. I'm glad you're able to get it like that at a more economical cost. That's awesome.
yes. No, I've never really wanted to use just say uh what is it, 151, or not 151, Everclear. I never really wanted to use Everclear, so I went with the medical grade alcohol just because, well, hopefully it would have better return. And I've never really talked to anybody that's used the Everclear, so I'd like to
Unfortunately,
find
that's
out.
the only way I've ever made it.
Everclear?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the only.
I'd like
That's
you
the only.
to try mine, see if you can see the the difference. It might have a different taste, or that'd be something to find out.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would like to, compare the two. I'm sure there's something. The grains have got to leave something in there, I would think, because there's, obviously there's some impurities left in there. But thank God they're food grade. That's the way that's the only benefit I get from when I'm trying to justify it in my head. That's the one thing I get. I'm like, at least it's food grade. It's not that naphtha, or whatever. I'm not trying to use that shit.
See, I try to run mine to where it's a little bit more like thick. I like mine thicker because I use mine for an ointment too. Just sometimes I'll get a sore from being in my wheelchair. Dude, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm paralyzed from my ribs, the bottom of my ribs down. So I don't have enough stomach muscles. I bend down and I use my arms. I get cuts on my hands and everywhere, and I don't know it. So I use RSO to actually use it as a uh, like a band-aid, and I'll put it on it. 2, 3 days later, my sore is gone. Without that, I don't have circulation in my legs and stuff like that, like you guys do. So it takes 2 to 3 weeks for a little tiny sore to heal. So I found out that the Rick Simpson oil helps out with that. So I use it on that too.
That's pretty awesome. When you said you made or you use it like kind of as a lotion there, I thought you were making a lotion, but you're just kind of straight out putting some of the oil like as a salve right on the
Yep.
sore.
Yep. I just pretty much get a container. I can mix it with, you know, aloe vera or whatever like that. And I try to make my own little salve.
That's pretty amazing. The plant really. And as I go on and hear more and more stories, it just I like say last night. Okay, I've heard good stories, and the night before I heard more stories, and every time I think I've had more faith in the plant, it just seems like I hear another story that makes me have that much more faith in the plant. You know what I'm saying? And man, it's great that you can utilize it as well, the RSO on your sores like that as well. I mean, Tribal Gardens the other night was showing off how he was making a salve or like a lotion for his patients and putting it on as foot fungus and
Oh, wow.
practically cleared it right up in a short amount of time. He was juicing it as well. He said
Yeah.
he was going in like during veg and pre-flower and snapping off a bunch of leaves and washing them and then juicing them. And he said he was noticing health benefits just from the juice in the leaves almost immediately. He was like making ice cubes out of them. You'd have to go back and like watch his video to be exact how he was using the ice cubes. But as it was being juiced, he filled up the ice trays and was freezing it for future use, and he said that he was using like 2 ice cubes a day, and it was helping out for his fibromyalgia and the other problems he was having. He said it was, you know, he noticed the benefits almost immediately, almost as well as the RSO he was taking, because he does ingest both. And,
Oh, who is that?
it, Tribal Gardens. He was a couple nights ago, episode 36, I want to say.
All
Great
right, yeah,
episode.
definitely
Last
go check
couple,
that out.
the last couple have been some really good ones. Well, they've all been good. I don't want to discredit anybody, but they've all been good. And tonight, yours has been great as well. I'm not knocking this one. Excuse me. So sorry. So, is there any other uses you could pass along? Is there any other medical benefits they could try if they haven't tried?
Nope, I guess not. I haven't jumped into a bunch of different ones. I just use my dabs. I get a few dabs going a day, and I've one joint might last me all day. You know, I don't smoke that much weed all day, but I roll a fatty and smoke on it all day and take my RSO at nighttime. Try to be as productive as I can throughout the day. So don't want to get too tired.
As I've been smoking this fatty the whole fucking time. Um, so I'll wait. Do you pull? How long do you, are you able to let them go outdoors? And what strains do you suggest for outdoors? I know you suggested the Bruce Banner, but
Well,
are there other ones you've tried in past years that
it's
have
all
been?
about your zone. You know, it definitely look productive.
Sorry, I cut
No,
you off.
no. Okay. Ones that I definitely request is getting ones that are study up on your zone that you're definitely living in. You know, I live in just a rainy area, so or at least we get a decent amount of rain. Uh, but I got fungus resistant strains, a lot of fungus resistant strains. My first flower, I got Gorilla Glue #4. I ran that last year. It was a perfect strain. Nothing happened to it. No aphids, no blight, no septoria, no nothing. Um, that starts flowering July 15th to July 20th. So it gets done about August, September 20th. So my flowering process, I guess, starts about August or September 20th. And then every 5 to 10 days, I start harvesting from there.
And it's got to be a lot of work harvesting them girls.
Well, I got an actually pretty damn good process, you know, especially once I I just take it straight off the flower into a 5 gallon bucket. I literally let it after it's cured, but after it's cured, I go straight to a 5 gallon bucket, burp and cure it for another 5 to 6 weeks. And in that time, I'm still harvesting shit off plants. But, you know, hopefully this year will be a lot better to where the dispensaries around me, I can get rid of something to them just because hopefully the rules and laws have changed a little bit to where I can get in there.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a weird year, and hopefully that I think the market's already going to be taxed. To be honest with you, so hopefully they'll be welcome us caregivers back in for at least another year with open arms, because all the COVID mess, I think that's really held up a lot of people, a lot of growers. I know some of the grows that are up and running have laid off a lot of people and are barely running.
Oh yeah. There's just say nurseries, there's uh your grow shops where you're buying supplies, you know, they're straight up telling you to buy supplies for a 12 week stock up, you know, just because everybody's out there buying everything. Just like when I went and got my supplies from the warehouse, I mean, they were bone dry. So I got everything that I could. You know, I got all my bat guanos that I could possibly need. And, you know, it's hopefully going to be enough.
I know I grabbed some extra cocoa. I was just over there yesterday and I grabbed a few extra blocks. I grow in cocoa myself. I'm trying to switch over. I'm getting ready to switch over to running at least an experimental like no-till or super soil type bed. I'm not sure which system I'm going to go with, but something that a medium that I keep building on. I'll probably end up like a no-till or a living organic system where I'm adding worms and such. But I can't just switch over right now. I got to play with it just a little area at a time. And when I was talking to Ganji Grow the other day, I was just on the ready to pull that trigger, and make that switch. And then he got me thinking, about inviting the living soil type environment into the other environments. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, the other one's great, but it's also like a living system. Bugs and pathogens and stuff are going to be present, and may transfer over. And I thought, you're right. Do I want to try to mix them? But I think if everything stays on point, I should be just fine. Just, I guess, a little worried about diving in. For some reason, the living soil or organic system is a little different car for me. I haven't ran like a dirt type system in a
See,
very,
I run
very long
Coco.
time.
I run
Do you?
Coco. Yeah. I am the only other type of soil that I am running is Soil Kings, baby or big roots.
You
The
can
big
get that here
roots.
in Michigan, huh?
No, he actually we was talking and stuff on Instagram, and he wanted to ship me some. So he shipped me like oh 7 bags of big roots, and then he shipped me some baby big roots. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's real cool. Did you happen to catch some of last night's episode? They were talking him up last night too.
Yes, it's an amazing soil. But nope, last night we was dealing with power outage. Thought I was
Ah,
gonna have to bust out the generator. I just bought a 9,000 watt generator, so I was kind of froggy to look for any reason to use it.
nice. Yeah, I lost power today earlier for about 4 or 5 hours. Luckily, just during the day, and wasn't too big of a deal. I wasn't. It was in the veg cycle over there, and these ones were off during that period anyway, so it wasn't too big of a stress. Uh, but yeah, Quino's genetic was on, and they were talking about their honeymoon. That's another good one. I'm telling. I'm not trying to brag up the show here or nothing, MMP, but I'm telling you, the last few nights have been really great shows, and they were one. But they were talking about when they got married on 420, and they ventured across the country, and they met a bunch of cool weed nerds, Father Mike and whatnot, and they ended up over there at Soil King, and they showed up over there, and the store was closing, or just closing as they pulled in, and they told the guy they were there for Maine, and just they ended up opening up the store Patrick himself came, from, they said his kid's car was just broken into, and he kind of put that aside, to help them out to open up the store and hang out with them. And, I was like, what an awesome guy. And then you follow up tonight with your story. It's like, man, it's just
Yeah.
confirming their tale yesterday. It sounds like an awesome guy that I'm going to have to try to reach out and see if he'll come on.
Oh yeah, definitely. He seems definitely like a down to earth dude, and looks like he likes to play with his toys, all the cars and crap like that. But yes, definitely got some good soil. I love the soil, nice and fluffy, and he's definitely got a nice blend. Now I got a Durban poison in my soil amended little technique style, and then I have a Durban poison that's Patrick's uh, big roots. So kind of doing those side by side. Both of them are doing amazing.
Yeah, I like that my Duraban poison. I have a cut. The C99 Winnie was C99 times Duraban poison. I'm pretty happy with that one so far. Plus, Duraban poison is just an amazing strain anyway. Should do you well outdoors. That's one of the ones that are supposed to be known for mold resistance.
Yeah, this is fungus resistant, and well, this is another reason why I was like doing the companion planting. I got a lot of yarrow. I got a lot of yarrow just because yarrow attracts aphid lions. Aphid lions eat aphids. So whether I got ground aphids or anything like that, hopefully, 'cause I got I think 4 or 5 plants. I got a Skittles, uh, chocolate skunk, and an amnesia lemon that are not fungus or mold resistant. So hopefully, those will aside do good. Hopefully, the fungus resistant will take to the area too.
That's pretty awesome. Again, second time this week I've heard the mention of companion plants.
Yeah, no,
Ganja
this
grower who was in chat uh, was bringing. He uses them indoors on his plants.
yes, and that's where I've seen it. I've seen it around a few places, but reading up on it a lot too, just because each one, doing different things. So
I'm interested. I really am. I mean, why? If you can avoid putting other pests in the garden, or spraying shit by just introducing another form of nature, why not? It doesn't sound like. And I know I've always looked at like these extra spaces. You know what I mean? That in between the plants, and like, man, it just seems like a wasted space. I know it's not peak light, but it's still something's got to be able to survive down there. And if you
a
could
lot
get
of it grow, a lot of it grows in shade. You know, like that yarrow that I was just speaking. It the benefits are like I said, the aphid lions. It brings on essential oils. So there's a lot of benefits that are other than the attraction of uh, predator mites or ladybugs or hummingbirds and stuff like this. So a lot of it brings irrigation to the soil. So that's a reason why I'm using it a lot outdoors too, just because I got a lot of clay in my area, so I want to try to bring aeration to the soil. So bringing it any way that I can possibly bring it.
that's something I've again now because I never really dive into anything well except this damn show
Right on.
without any without any kind of research. This is a learn as I go type thing. But with the organics, I've been kind of doing a lot of research, reading a lot of books lately. And I used to, as you know, somebody that builds houses and stuff, I have always viewed clay to be kind of a bad thing. It's tough to work around. It's tough to dig through. It sheds water around, the landscape of the house if it's too close to the ground soil. But what I'm finding out is I dig deeper into the organic and microbe systems that clay has a whole lot of nutrient value that I never, it can't be compacted, but if it's, added back in, certain amounts, that it's very beneficial. The surface area of clay holds a lot of nutrients, I guess. It's hard to
See,
say.
like my holes, I try to dig my holes outdoors down till I hit clay and a good, like a gray clay. So when I get that gray clay, then I fill it in with compost. I use my worm castings. I use my Coco. Uh, and it's been working out pretty damn good. So,
Are you adding in any type of microbes, or are you just counting
oh
on
yeah.
your teas?
Uh, Actually, talking about microbes, I got it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I use my Wow Wallace. It is a premium mycorrhizal inoculant. It's for like giant pumpkins, and it's supposed to increase your yield up to 300%. And it does. It's an amazing mycorrhizal, uh,
That's
helping
the
with.
second time I've heard that too. The giant pumpkin. I believe Kinyos was referenced in that last night. That's a good sized package. What?
I got 20 pounds. I spent 165 bucks on all the mycos.
Shit, that's nothing. I mean, it's a lot. Don't get me wrong, but
What's
it's
better
not.
than It's better than what the 30 bucks for 4 ounces from.
Yeah, great white and shit. That's like $50. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
I
look at it
got.
in them terms, I mean, that's what you just showed me in that bag. That's, if you were to divide it up in like them packages, like you said, it'd be like a grand.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
$160, man, I'm down. That's
Wow
especially,
Wallace, wowwallace.com or Wallace Wow, I think it is.com. But definitely go check them out. I like it. It's uh and then if you check on, I'm just saying I've checked into uh the mycorrhizal and what mycorrhizal is sort of best for your marijuana plants. And I'm not too exactly sure right offhand, but your mycorrhizal plant or your mycorrhizal is, I think, 12 or 16 different species in great white, but you get like eight. I think there's 8 or 10 species in Wild Wallace. So, you know, yeah, I'm not too sure which one he's dropping or something like that, but he's got it down for obviously his pumpkin. So, and I like
well, I
it.
know the ones that I've watched Jeff Lowenfels talk. He's always stated that, the basic ones that you need are no different in quality than one from the other. He said they basically come from the same source. So yeah, with that being said, if you have results that these are working for you, why wouldn't you? You know, and then it's too easy probably to do a side by side for somebody that is really that curious. You know what I'm saying? Internet's a
Right.
hell of a thing, but I'm down for numbers right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'd rather save a few bucks, and like I said, that's the second time this week I've heard about that product right there, and both of you have said great things about it. So why wouldn't I save
Yeah.
myself some money and look into it? In fact, I'm going
Yeah.
to look into it. Thank you.
I wanted to get a nice inoculant just because I want to, like I said, also detour the fungus and disease, and mycorrhizal is known for that. So everything that I can possibly do to strengthen the plants, disease and fungus resistance. That's what I'm going to do.
Looks like
And
you're
then
doing
that
a pretty
rolls
damn good
into
job
my
over there.
seed sprout teas. You know, I've been using a lot of seed sprout teas to boost the enzymes of the plant. So that's supposed to.
Walk us through your seed sprout tea, please, if you could. I don't want to steal all your YouTube content, but
Oh, now my seed
hopefully
sprout.
they're gonna come right back and watch it. Go back and watch all your stuff anyway. So
Well, on my seed sprout tea video, I go into a lot of detail about seed sprout teas, but your seed sprout teas, I use a fast germinating seed, alfalfa. Alfalfa and barley are fast sprouting. So it ain't going to be like your corn. Your corn's going to take, I don't know, I've seen it take all the way up to 5 days to sprout. So I use alfalfa and, soak it, or alfalfa and barley, soak it for 8 to 10 hours, drain off the water, throw it in a paper towel and strainer, let it sit for 12, 24 hours, and you'll get a tail on it. Throw that into a blender and blend it up. Throw it into your next fertilizer feeding, your compost feeding, or just regular water feeding. It doesn't matter, it's just enzymes. So, and you'd stand back and watch your plants shoot up. Seriously.
all right, not to keep referring to Mr. Badass here, Mr. Jack. That's why I love him. He's in chat saying that the Wow Wallace has an Indo micro right excuse me, microcryza. I still fucked it up. But he said it's the proper one for cannabis. So
Yes.
you're right, going down the right road there. And it sounds like at a much better price point.
Yeah. Now, like, again, this would be my first year using that. Last year, I used a landscaping mycorrhizal, but it was like I think it was an Indo. It was the same price, but I got half the poundage. I got 10 pounds for 165 bucks. So definitely happy I ran across this.
I'm glad you did too
Wow,
because
Wallace. So
I, I'm gonna look into it first thing tomorrow. I'm not even bullshit because I'm all about saving that money.
yes. Now I do not know if I could use this for like what you do is great white, in your compost teas and stuff like that. I've never used it that way, but it would be interesting to find out if I could use it in compost teas. I don't see why not.
I don't see why not either. But I would mainly just want it for a generous transplant. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it, and at 160 bucks, I would think that I would use it, you know, a lot more generously than I would be at the 50 bucks per 4 ounce rate. Uh,
Yes.
so, how do
Yeah.
you feel about watering in Mycos? That's another thing I'm kind of always wondered about versus, trying to sprinkle it on the root ball versus trying to water it straight into the roots, uh, which you think is a little more beneficial if you could, ideally go at it.
Well, definitely probably uh adding it to your transplant. It's going to be readily there for your plants and your roots over watering it in. But I love watering it in too. I use uh my great white, but I also use my azos. I add like a good handful of azos into my enzyme or my seed sprout teas. You know, when I use my Azos, I don't use no measurement. I just take a good size handful and throw it in. So I like the Mycos and Azos from Extreme Gardens.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
usually use them too.
Yeah, I use them a lot as well as I like to water some in. Uh, I use the Azos and Mycos at transplant, and then I like to water some in, like say mid veg, then like maybe a week and a half before flower, and then like a week and a half into flower, and then I cut them off after that. Just kind of hope that there's enough in there to do their things to the end. The salts don't kill them off.
Right. Yes. Uh, you do you add worms and stuff to your soil also?
No, because I'm using a Coco, and
I still
it's
add worms
practically
to my
yeah.
yeah. Well, see, a lot of my worms come from I use my worm bin. Now I got a worm bin that's got a drain hole in the bottom and I don't have a filter on it. So whatever tiny baby worms that are in that juice that comes out of there, I'll take the juice out of there and throw it in my compost teas just because I feed my worms strictly bananas, just high potassium. And so in that worm or in that worm bin juice, there's a lot of worms. And I've noticed when I'm doing my transplants that there's tons and tons of worms in my cocoa. And that's the only possible anywhere that they could have came from. So I'm pretty sure they're coming from that.
Hmm. Again, you got me thinking there, MMP. They'd be happy in that chunky cocoa, and I think they, if I
Oh,
fed
see,
them and they'd stay, I'd throw them in there.
oh, you use chunky cocoa? I use
Oh,
the
it's
cocoa.
chunky.
I use cocoa fiber.
This is it right here.
Got to go up.
It's almost like wood chips.
See, this is mine.
Yeah, that's much finer. It looks like they have a version of this from the same company that that isn't nearly as. But I like the chunky stuff myself just for the aeration. It keeps me from adding any type of perlite or anything else for aeration. Is why I like that in particular cocoa.
Yep. See,
But
I
it looks
use.
like what you were running there looked nice and spongy and airy, but yet looked like it retained water well. What brand are you using there?
Uh, Root Royal. Root. I think it's Root Royal from or Royal Root from Grow Supply Shop. Awesome, awesome soil. I like using soil because it's lighter for me to move around in my wheelchair. Uh, it's I'm going to say 25 pounds for a 10-gallon pot compared to 40 pounds for a 10-gallon pot. So a little bit easier for me to handle, and especially using the blocks, easier for me to handle and add the water to and maneuver.
Yeah, that's actually why I switched to different reasons though. Uh, to to a cocoa or a lighter mix originally. I was running when I first started growing. It was in a soil type, but I was unfortunately running in like an attic atmosphere.
Oh,
No, attic atmosphere about it. It was straight up an attic that I had sealed up, drywalled it all off, and was growing in it. And yeah, I was worried about the weight. had a bunch of plants up there, and I was like, man, as I'm plugging them up there, I'm like, I just know as a builder, this is adding up. And then as I, got medical and legal and uh, um, taking on more and more patients, more and more pots definitely were added up. And I was like, man, it was just because of the weight thing, just like you said, man. I was in search of trying to just cut that right in half, which ultimately led me to the Pro Mix and Coco. Ultimately, the Coco was just for that reason right there. Was just to ease the load upstairs. I know
That
that made it.
that and it was a lot cheaper. It was cheaper than soil. At the time I was getting blocks for $8, $9, but now they up the price to Coco in my area. One block is like $25. So
Just smiling here because I fucking excuse my language. I don't know how if you swear or not, but I I swear a little bit there. MFP. I looked down and I was just fixing to roll up another round of a doob here. I looked down and I was just getting ready to kind of stuff it into my roller. I looked down, I had a big old hunk of my chunky cocoa in there. I was getting ready
uh,
to smoke my chunky cocoa.
that'd have
I
been a
was
nice surprise. That'd have been a nice surprise.
Oh, I'm sure it would have stood right out.
Definitely.
Oh shoot! So what were you dabbing on? I did notice you took a dab earlier. What were you partaking in there?
Oh, I got some super lemon haze.
Nice. Heck yeah. So is that a terp profile that you're pretty fond
Yep,
of?
got some
The
super lemon
lemonade?
haze.
Is the lemonine terp that you like? Is it uplifting for you like it is most? That's a stupid question, I guess. But I know I'm a fan of the lemon, but I'm a better fan of the pine, I guess. Lemon's like probably a third, fourth down my list.
This
But
one
it's
don't
all preference.
this don't have a lemony terpene too much. Now that's another reason why I'm trying to. I got Terpinator. I'm using a lot of terpene booster this year because outdoors, uh, I just didn't get that much terpenes in my flower. So that's why I'm using a lot of the companion planting and everything that I can to boost the essential oils and terpenes. And I'm using Terpinator and also using fish shit from Fish Head Farms just as a soil
I,
conditioner and
I
terpene
think
booster.
to be quite honest with you, brother, uh, I would pull that friggin' Terpinator right out of your regimen and just worry about you know the fish shit. I run actually that I've noticed that I've been running that for almost a year now. The Alaska fertilizer fish shit
Yeah.
in small doses. I'm running. I mix up 15 gallons. You can probably see the tub back there, that blue tub. 15 gallons at a time, and I'm only adding like 50 mils per, you know, 15 gallons. So every watering, so a little bit every time. But ever since I've been adding the fish, I've noticed a good torque profile all in itself. And with the companion plants, like you say, they do bring out more terps in the plants themselves, just because the interaction with one from another. But what I found with that damn terpinator is it works, but it almost works too well. It'll blend your shit together. You'll notice that limonene in present in all your strains. If it was there or not, it will definitely be pronounced in there before, which I didn't mind it. As far as the flavor, when I ran it, I did enjoy it, But as far as somebody that ran multiple strains, it definitely blended my shit together. So just kind of keep that in mind. And that fish shit that you're holding up there, I have ran that as well.
That's it.
And, yep, good shit. Especially if
Yeah.
you're going to run it outdoors. Indoors, it was a little stinky. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But if outdoors, yeah, I would definitely, yeah, it's going to help
Yeah.
you out.
So I was going to, as soon as I go outdoors, I'm going to continue. I'm going to try to condition my soil. So I'm going to hit it as soon with the fish shit from Fish Head Farms and try to condition the soil, just try to, you know, put all the microbes and everything in the soil for a good jump start for the plants, get them everything that they're possibly going to need. But yes, I do got a lot of Alaskan fish fertilizer. So I use a lot of Alaskan fish fertilizer for my compost teas.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yes, it
Ex-
is.
Especially if I learned the other day, I found that shit. I think it was at Walmart. Walmart, no shouts out to
Yeah.
Walmart, but
Yeah.
I found that stuff at Walmart for like I think it was $17 a gallon. It was actually cheaper than any other place I found it at. I was like,
Yeah. You buy a gallon and it's like $4 more than buying it by a quart. So like buying it by a quart, it was like 14 bucks. Buying it by a gallon, it's like $4 more. So definitely buying it by the gallon.
it's I've noticed that I got that economics. That's sad right there, MMP. That's street economics 101 right there. I always got that kind of attitude from buying bags when I was fucking younger. I always knew it was bigger to buy that ounce and like get a couple people to go in on it with you or whatever, and you could get that ounce and get yours for cheaper. You know what I'm saying? And I've always
Hey,
kind of applied that shit right to everything else, and especially nutrients. If you can afford to buy that shit in gallons, and you can save yourself some money buying in gallons versus trying to milk it out in quarts, trying to get by in quarts. Because you
you
can
don't think
definitely
about,
get at least one free buying in gallons.
well, it would be about what, 2.5 quarts free, maybe 3.5 quarts. I don't know, at least 2.5 quarts free that you'd be getting it. So
Yeah, that's just good, man. I found actually the molasses too. I found molasses that I'm happy with at Tractor Trailer Supply, which is a food grade molasses for $8 a gallon.
right on. What kind of molasses do you use?
It's right here. It's for deer.
Hey,
Oh, nasty looking.
no, I use the almost the same shit.
There you go.
It's got an 82, it's got an 82 bricks level out of I think 83 or 85. So I mean, it's got an amazing bricks level. So, and there's no sulfur, there's no harmful shit in there. So definitely gonna be trying to save that buck.
Yeah, what fucking small thing of molasses at the grocery store is fucking $4 or $5.
Yeah, for
Just
yeah, yeah.
damn.
And now I use dry molasses too. I use dry molasses and transplants and just to give the plants a little bit of sugar boost. I use it as a top dressing amendment and in compost teas. I add my dry amendment of alpha or molasses too.
Yeah, I haven't worked with the dry molasses yet, uh,
It's
but
thir-
I've thought. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
$13 for 50 pounds.
And what's like a rate that you'd mix that in?
I use it by handfuls, you know. I just mix it in to probably 2 cups per 10 gallons, something like that.
So, what is your favorite terp? What works? What is the most calming? What's working the best for you? I know we talked briefly strains, but we didn't talk necessarily terps. You know, like we briefly touched on the lemon there, but it's like, is it orange or lemon or pine? Is what's best for you, you know, to just kind of relax and, you know, clarify yourself. So it works different for everybody, you know.
Yeah, I just definitely look more for the pain. I'm not definitely a terp favor. Uh, Once I have pain, that's the only thing that I'm looking to get rid of. Just because I get so pain so bad to where it just feels like somebody's ripping my ribs out, somebody's stabbing me in the back, twisting my spine up. So that's my main objective to get rid of.
Sounds like Mercium would be Mercium high strains would be good for you.
Yeah, see, the next thing that I was looking into was a high CBD. Now I was looking into like a Ringo's Gift, or because that was like a 28% CBD. So I'd like to I'd try some CBD, and I've never really tried it. So especially smoking it or in RSO.
That's what I was thinking as well. I was just thinking as you said it, if you weren't, if it didn't even work that well for you as, you know, smoking it or dabbing it, you could always turn it in or mix it with your RSO just to, you
Yeah.
know, full spectrum it a little bit.
Yeah. Sitting out like with my RSO, I'll make candy bars and stuff like that, and lock them up and put them in safe areas to where I'll use candy bars and stuff throughout the day. And just because using your Simpson oil or your RSO, it gives you a kind of a bad taste in your mouth. And so I kind of try to mix something into it, candy bars with some coconut or something in it.
It usually works pretty dang good, I've found, to bury that.
Yes. Yes, it
Almost.
does.
I actually have had my first and the only one that I can really say for sure hallucinant experience with edibles was partly due to the mint. I made a bunch of it was a strong batch of butter anyway, and I made cookies with it, and I knew they were going to be strong cookies anyway. They come out and I just they tasted just like a fresh batch of like thin mint cookies, and I just kind of like power
Devoured
ate.
them.
Yeah, yeah. I was in deep before I realized what I had done, and I smoked one and laid down. And when I woke up, I was lit. I was very everything was very vivid, and it was a good time. I wouldn't. For amateurs or anybody that wasn't looking for that kind of buzz, I wouldn't suggest it. But for myself, I kind of enjoyed it momentarily. You know, I was in a safe area and I'd kind of been close to there before, so I knew knew how to enjoy it.
Yes. Now that Simpson oil, when I first started doing that, it it want my ass. It'd make me go lay down. Turn my stomach actually a little bit. So until I got used to that and you know figured out my dosage, I kind of had to be leery about how much I took about that. Just because my RSO is probably made with 17, 18% THC just because it was last year's flower, but hopefully this year will be a little bit better.
Well, as long as it's working for you, that's that's all that matters.
Yes. Yep, taking care of a lot of the spasms. I actually have a baclofen pump that's in my stomach. I have a baclofen pump that's been inserted into my stomach. It's a machine that's probably double the size of a hockey puck, thickness and width wise, and uh, that's also to help try to control my spasms that I have, just because yeah, they get bad some days.
So not to get too far off topic, but I guess just because it's my show and I get to guide it as I feel, I guess. You know what I mean? Uh I love ink, and I noticed that you have some, and I don't want to like because it's similar to your face. It can be just as a marking. Uh, how covered are you? I've noticed that you have some cool stuff from your posts, and but
Ink,
I yeah,
I don't know if you can see. I got one arm almost done. It's up to my arm up here, but this arm's pretty much done.
nice.
I got it to where it says determination, heart, strength, motivation, motivational quotes. Try to keep my day strong.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I enjoy
But
my. I have a lot of ink myself, and I enjoy others' ink too. Is that
yes,
it? Just the one side you've started there?
no,
Terribly addicting.
I got this
Terribly
down.
addicting.
I got my it's on my legs. I got it down my legs too. I got on one leg, I got it's like a demon fading into a soul. Then on the other leg, got it says life struggle, just because every day is.
It's pretty awesome. Mine are done. I actually one the left leg is done from toes all the way to my hip. And the
Yes.
other one's pretty well done. I've started at, pretty well done, and I'm starting back at the toes, and I'm trying to fill the gaps coming back up. I'm in full bore now. I didn't think I'd ever be in as deep as I am right now, but yeah, I love some ink, and I call it ink therapy.
Right.
That's my way of just kind of dealing with. It's my outlet, pretty much, man. Most people go, "How the fuck can you sit there?" I can sit there and I've had conversations. I had Instagrammed one time while I had my foot done. The top of my foot. I was sitting there talking to people and the guy and my daughter, and everybody's like, "How are you just carrying on a conversation like that?" And it's just,
Yeah. The
uh,
top
it's weird. I just tune it out and
top of the
did the
foot.
same for you.
Well, I got my hand done, and it took about 2 hours, but I don't know. I didn't like.
That's the
I
top of
didn't.
the hand ain't no. That's no easy spot right
Well,
there.
that
That's
and when I got in my car accident, I actually almost severed my arm. It actually severed it all the way down to the bone. So all the nerve endings right there are like severely sensitive. So that was a pain in the ass to try to get that done. But yeah, that was, it's not nothing that I hate. I love going to get ink. It's just more about time right now, especially with the garden and getting things prepared. And once they start flowing, I can go get some more. But Yes, I
I
usually go.
shit, can't even go get none right now, even if you wanted to. I've been jonesing this whole damn COVID. I mean, I literally had like an appointment the day after the restrictions went on. I was like, man, I'm addicted. I mean, I hate to say that I'm addicted to anything. I could give up cannabis, I think, at this point before I would really give up that ink for some reason. It's a weird thing. Once you get started, it's a weird journey. It's a fucking weird journey once you get going, man. But there's actually times where I've looked back at pictures without the tats and stuff, and it's like it's weird. It's weird. I
Don't
don't even know
recognize yourself.
myself like that. No,
Yeah.
I don't. And even like on my legs, the spots that are the in betweens, I hate them. I hate them spots, man. I'm so wanting them the blank spots in between just filled. It's just been eating at me lately. I don't know. It's been
Well, it's
full bore
def-
lately. This last 2 years, I've really dove in.
yeah. See,
So do
like
you have
one.
a? I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, brother.
My tattoo artist is actually a buddy of mine. So if I don't catch him in the shop, I catch him at home, and his house is about 45 minutes away, and shop is about an hour. So not much difference in time going to the shop or his house, but yes, he's open for business right now. So
Nice. That would be awesome. Keep trying to tempt my guy. He won't do it. I
well,
keep
a
trying
lot
to.
of
In fact, I just seen him yesterday. He was like, because the band was like borderline, and
oh yeah,
again, this whole time I've been like, man, come on, I'm first up, right? Right? Wait,
well
I was here yesterday.
a lot
Come
of
on,
those
tell me.
bosses, a lot of those bosses, they find out they're tattooing at home, they're fired and they get fined.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. That's his exact words. Because he's the shop owner and he's the only artist there. He's like, man, to be honest with you, I'd pay the 5 grand if I got busted. He's like, I have lost that much easy. He said, but losing my license, I'm not down with that. And I'm like, I respect that. I can respect it.
Yeah,
So I
it's
just gotta wait.
like
Because
you're in.
I'm a firm believer once you get working with an artist, and he understands like the kind of direction you're going. As long as you're super happy with his work, stick with that guy until you know something happens. You're not happy with his work, whatever. It's
Yeah,
harder to mix different artists, and I don't suggest it.
the dude that I got, he's got magnetic coils, so that's pretty cool. You know, he's always putting all of his extra money into the equipment, and just like pretty much same thing that I do. Any type of extra money I do, I put it back into my garden. It's what everybody should do. Put it in something they love, and
I totally agree. I totally agree. That's the way I built my construction business as well. Every job I did, I always made sure and bought one tool for the future until I had everything I needed to do shit. And then I still continued to buy tools. Uh, that habit was hard to break after that. It was always one thing, even if it was a fucking screwdriver or a set of bits or thing, something.
high
I
quality.
always, I figured I was investing in myself and investing, making it easier and faster, making the next job easier and faster. It's
Right.
always how I justified it.
So is that your main job is construction?
It used to be. Um, let's see here. I think it was 2010. I kind of started to phase over from construction into caregiver, and I've been able to sustain as a caregiver, since then. I
How
still
many
do. Go ahead.
How many patients you got?
5 plus myself.
Yeah, that's too many for me to take care of.
It's all by
I,
myself too. It's a full time job. I couldn't, do construction right now if I wanted to. Be honest with you, which kind of bums me out because it's a true passion for me. I've been lucky my whole life to follow things I've enjoyed to do, and cannabis is the one. I've just kind of beat myself up through the years doing the woodworking, and I enjoy being around the cannabis plant 24/7. So it was a easy phase there,
right on.
and you kind of I guess since we're in a lull there, uh, you asked me about the show here. No, this was something I kind of took on as a hobby. This isn't a job. I just I enjoy meeting people like yourself, and there's a great community out there that enjoys watching great folks like yourself, and the knowledge that gets passed down from person to person. And I've been graced through my cannabis career, not only as a medical grower, but the earlier days of knowing breeders back in the day, and I've done a lot of seed testing, which kind of led me first and foremost to a friend of mine that just passed on, Subcool there, and he opened up a lot of doors for me, and those doors opened other doors, and I was able to meet a lot of great folks in the cannabis industry, and so I just kind of thought I'd use a little bit of that leverage to get some of them people on and talk to them, like just like yourself, and
That's
spread as
awesome.
much spread as much out as I could. And that's the point. Is I try to bring somebody on every night, just like yourself. In my book, there's no greater one than the other. This week I've had Mr. Soul on. Jinx Proof will be on later this week. And I've had some great Canadian growers on. I don't specialize in any one region. I feel the smallest gardens just as amazing as the biggest gardens. The guy running that 4x4 tent can be running some amazing tech just as much as the guy that's got 1,500 plants. Just because he's not utilizing the same tech doesn't mean that there isn't great tips in there to be found.
Right.
So one by one, that's the option. I just kind of keep reaching out to people like yourself and seeing if they want to come on and tell their story. And you know, you were a good one to reach out to because you've already had a YouTube channel somewhat established, and I was hoping to help you grow your channel and get some knowledge out there. And to be quite honest, the story's been better than I thought it would be. I knew I was going to enjoy tonight. I enjoy every story, but I didn't realize how deep your story was. You know what I'm saying here? I didn't. I kind of briefly picked up on your videos that you were in a wheelchair, but getting to know you and hearing your story and shit just makes me want to tune in all the more. And that's what I've come to find out about getting everybody on so far is. The people that's come on and told their stories, it's just seemed to like tighten that. A lot of us hang out in these chats. You watch from show to show to show to show to show on these YouTubes, and you see the same names pop up and everything, and so you start building that camaraderie. And I'll get to that in a second. I guess I got a little side story. That camaraderie, but this is kind of taking it up a notch. I'm trying to grab all these names that we see in the chats and that we admire, and putting their face out there, telling their story. And it every night, it just, you hear these stories, and now you feel like you've met somebody at one of these events. And it's so much easier for me. I actually now, when I'm seeing all these names in chat, like like now, from now on, when I see you in chat, I'm gonna see you in chat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm going to
connect to
be able to
face.
relate a voice and a face with this, and it's going to be much more personal. And that's what I've noticed about, you know, in the chats so far, that people that's come out, it's really tightened, you know, things up, if you will. And I'm just happy to be. I just told, I've said this many nights, you know, I'm a good grower and I try to expand as much knowledge as I can. But as far as this goes, I'm just a fucking tool, you know. You, the people that are watching this show, they're the driving force, and they're the what makes everything about this watchable. It makes it, you know, everything that it is. It makes me want to do it, and I do it for them, and I love hearing, you know, your guys' story. You know, I've seriously enjoyed this, and you've touched me. Your story has touched me tonight. You know, it makes
I
me
thank
wanna.
you for. I definitely thank you for having me on.
No, I
You were
thank
saying
you for coming on.
something earlier about, yes, me being in a wheelchair. I actually am the first person in Michigan to have exoskeleton robotic legs too. I have robotic rewalk legs, so I get to
Wow,
get
that's
in them
pretty
on
awesome.
my free time, which isn't very often by
It's got to
the
be
day.
a whole new uh, learning experience all on itself. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like using them indoors. I got my exoskeleton robotic legs. I got a 4x4 power wheelchair. I got stand up wheelchairs, and I got a few things just to get, you know, halfway, three quarters of the way normal life, you know. So I do everything that's needed to be done.
Oh, obviously. You know, I mean, I've caught that through the story, which would make it, and it can be easy to be a single father of two boys of that age. And, you know, life's hard as it is, much less the obstacle life has thrown you. But you've seemed to 100% made fucking the best out of
Yeah,
it.
I'm just thankful for. Oh yes, I'm very thankful that I mean, I got my boys, and they're a big help. You know, they're 10 and 13, and you know, I don't let them get on games all day long. So we get outside and do productive stuff, and you know, our fun time is bike rides and hanging out. So I like hanging out with the kids and doing as much as I possibly can. So
You know, I'm very much respecting the fact here, MMP, that you casually brush it off, because there's a lot of people that you know, and I'm speaking from knowing people, not necessarily is bad off, but I've seen smaller instances destroy people, injuries, and through pharmaceutical drugs. And you could have easily been one of those folks that, you know, uh, let this injury get down on you and just buried yourself in the pharmaceuticals, possibly never to come out. But obviously, you're not that type of person. You know what I'm saying? And you found the strength to not to let it beat you like that. You know, and that's very respectable, brother. I mean, very
I had
respectable.
a big encouragement just for myself, just to not let my kids see me popping pills all day long, just for to get out of pain, and then be that couch potato that's drooling all over himself, and you know, not be able to motivate my kids to do what's right and what needs to be done to have them enjoy the life that I know is out there and that we have. So yes, definitely try to keep certain things away from my kids.
It's pretty inspiring. It really is. It truly is. Uh, I'm glad that you were, you know, able to come on here and talk to us about it, for sure. You know, some
Yes,
people
thank you.
some people can be weird, you know, about talking about themselves, and you know, especially their personal selves, their injuries and stuff like that. I know I've reaching out to people, I've had a lot of different responses, yay, nay, anxiety. It's been more than one no because of anxiety and the way, just what's going on in their lives. So I'm super glad that you were able to come on and share yours. You know,
Well, I
it's not
think,
an easy thing to do. You know, it's I'm trying to give you 100% credit. This is ain't not an easy thing to do. This like recording your videos and stuff. You know, you can go back and look and you can edit that shit, but
yes,
you know, it's when you fucking turn on this eye right here, and people don't realize when you sit in front of this thing and you click that, you know, that button, and you know that the world is out there.
yeah,
It's not so easy to spit it out, you know.
right.
So hats
Yeah,
off, man. I really appreciate it.
I try to be real. I try to let you know, especially just no bullshit. I try to tell the truth and I guess my experiences, and especially with growing my knowledge and dislikes, that's all out there, especially on my channel, Instagram. I try to do more daily videos, but it's all real, nothing fake about it.
I know you had briefly. We're not in any hurry, and I'm not trying to rush you off in any way. Excuse me. I'm just trying to make sure we cover everything as thoroughly as we can possibly cover this. You had briefly mentioned earlier your partnerships with, Dr. Enzymes and stuff like that. So, can you throw out? You obviously have codes, correct, for your partners?
Are you
Is that
talking
what
about
you're?
affiliate codes?
Yeah, yeah. Your affiliate codes. Do you have a code for Doctor Enzymes and like that for any other people that you can throw out
No,
there?
actually, Dr. Enzymes, I just got connected with them. Uh, the amazing Dr. Zymes, just connected with them. Primordial Solutions, I was just tinkering around with them. They just send me uh, nutrients and shit just for videos. Now, I love growing marijuana.com, and a few other ones. They just give me an affiliate discount, but I guess I make 25 or 20% off of every sale, but
That's
I
why I'm
move.
asking you to throw them out there.
Yeah, they haven't given me any code yet. They haven't given me any
Okay.
code yet.
Okay.
No, they've given me affiliate discounts right now.
So look to his channel and his Instagram for future codes. Right.
Yes, hopefully. I literally just talked to Amazing Dr. Zymes today. I was trying to buy another gallon of the enzymes, and they were just talking to me about getting that set up, and they were going to shoot me an email with the code in there. So hopefully by the end of the week, I'll at least have the Amazing Dr. Zymes code. But yes, that's what I
Yeah, make
should
sure.
do is update the bio and other things like that with all the affiliate codes.
Yes, sir. I'd use them in my hashtags as well. Yeah.
Right on.
If you got them, you might as
Yes.
well push them.
Yep. I try to reach out, try to get as much help as out there. I got help from the Green Bicycle. I don't know if you've ever used them. Green Bicycle compost teas, and a few other ones.
I haven't, but that's another name in the community that seems to be helping out a lot more and more.
Yeah. They sent me over 25 pounds of ocean bounty. So I can use that outdoors. I figure I'd use that right off the get-go with the fish shit from Fish Head Farms and the green bicycle. So
Yeah, he was just actually working with Subcool for those super soil packs. That's
yes.
who he was working with. Great dude.
Yeah. Actually, Subcool is the one who turned me on to Green Bicycle. Subcool and Seattle Steve. Subcool pushed me over to Seattle Steve to talk to him about a few things, and yes, then I got connected to Green Bicycle. So very happy to have
It's
them in the regiment.
That's what I say it every night, man. This community that this cannabis community is pretty amazing. You know, that's why I dig it. And you know what? I kind of straight up, I kind of branched up when I was talking about the cannabis community. Uh, it's been pretty cool because since I've been doing this show, my daughters are older. You know, they're 25. They're turning 25, 13, and coming up this month. I don't want to give away too much. 25, 21, and 17. Uh, so since I've been doing this show, they've never been involved in my cannabis social, if you will. But since I've been doing this show, they've been kind of hanging out in the show and in the chat a little bit. And Lexi in particular has gotten the bug, the cannabis bug. And you know, she doesn't use the plant in any kind of way. I mean, it helped her after a car accident with anxiety. She was thrown 2 years ago from a moving car and was very lucky to be alive. They were doing 110 when the car rolled, and they were both girls were ejected into the tree line, and were very very lucky. Uh, you know, they had their own injuries and some heal up time, but most of it was anxiety for Alexis. And CBD helped uh, her get off the pharmaceuticals because it was a ride, the stuff they were prescribing her. Terrible ride.
Yeah,
But
you get into
she found release in that. But so she doesn't use it. Occasionally, if things get too bad, she uses CBD. But she's been hanging out in the chats here, and she's caught the cannabis community bug. So she doesn't. She's not a grower, and she does not necessarily a user, but she watches every night and loves hanging out and interacting with everybody in the chat. I mean, like in the mornings or during the day tomorrow, she'll be like, you know, I talked. Did you catch this in chat? Did you catch that? You know, and she's like, you know, telling me everything, and I can see this spark, and she's like, even like nights when I've like logged off early, she's like, I don't even know what to do now. I'm so used to hanging out with you in the chat that you know, it's become a part of her life, and it's kind of it's kind of been touching to see it pass on, you know,
well, it's
because
awesome
that's
that you
how it.
guys it's
I'm
awesome that
sorry,
you
go ahead.
guys can, create something to bond around. At least you guys have that.
Yeah, it's nice to see because that's what caught me all years and years ago was the community, you know, seeing everybody and building that camaraderie, and that's kind of what's led up to this. But seeing her get caught up in it and finding, you know, some solace, you know, you know, finding herself in it. It's been really cool, you know, seeing it. And I love it. Every time I see that name in there, and I know she's all lit up on the other end, and it's
Right
awesome.
on. That's
It's
awesome.
awesome
She
to
finds
see.
enjoyment.
It's nice to see the transcendent generation, I guess. You know, it's an awesome time that we live in that it isn't demonized anymore. We can there'll become a time that that hopefully someday you'll be able to experience it with your children. You know, I'm not saying you push them that way or whatever, but I'm sure. And let's see here, another 10, 12 years. We've come a long way here in the last 10 years, whatever. 10, 12 years, it may be even a more sociably norm rather than going
Yeah.
out and having a drink with your boys. It may be much more socially acceptable to enjoy a cannabis cigarette with them. And I hope
Right.
that's in that when they're of that age that we're in that type of world
Oh yeah.
because it's a
Hopefully.
much better community. It's a
Which
much
is
better
because
community.
I'd rather smoke a joint any day than pick up alcohol. Just because, especially with my body does not process alcohol the way, your body does. It's just a different battle if I was going to drink. So I definitely will stay with smoking and dabbing and RSO for sure.
The American one, I know we've already been through this, and I know it seems kind of redundant, but they're asking. You know what I mean? I don't. You're not watching. I suggest you go back because you'll be able to watch the chat as you watch the re-show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll be able to
Hold
watch
on.
what everybody's
How do
saying.
I get into the chat?
Well, if you're on a laptop, you can click the link, or you could actually just bring the YouTube up on your phone and pause the video and let the chat roll on that. But
Actually,
the American one here is asking your YouTube and Instagram here. People are wanting to know. And the American one is another great, great member of the cannabis community. He's been around and very supportive for a long time, as well as a great grower breeder.
yes, it is MMMP's Nation's Creation. I'm going to turn on my TV right now just so I can hold all this up.
Just because I have a second here of air here. Michelle F. Iberson, if you could email me or DM me on Instagram, uh, eaglegardens1 at gmail.com or at eaglegardens1 Instagram or fucking talking shit with Eagle, one of the three. I'm really interested in hearing your story as well, since I know you're there and you can hear me.
All right, pulling up YouTube right now.
I appreciate that, Michelle. Michelle says both Eagle and MMP both seem like great fathers. I appreciate that. I tried.
All right. All right.
I'll just give some shout outs while you're pulling that out. Mr. Shark Pulley 989. Hello, how you doing tonight? Jack Screenstock, Twisted Roots, how you doing tonight? Chris Mertz, great episode the other night. Appreciate that.
All right.
Sir Sticky Wizard, how you doing? Or it's
Yes.
just
You. Oh, you're getting some. Getting some backlash talk. Getting some
Yeah.
echo.
Oh, am I getting echo? Oh, it might be because your video's playing. Pause the video.
Yeah. All I gotta do is just. All right. Can you hear me
Chat
now?
should roll now.
All right. There we
Yeah.
go. Yep. There we go. All right. So I can see everybody now. A few familiar faces. Twisted Roots.
Wish we'd have got that early on because they've been talking about it the whole time.
Yes. So, yep, definitely
Oh,
go check me out on Instagram and YouTube. Got some plenty of content about my grow style, my techniques, and when I'm getting ready to go outdoors. Got 8 more days, guys, till these beasts are getting ready to go outdoors. So these girls got a few more days of love that they're getting indoors. Hell,
and see, I know for me, meeting you and seeing the girls now makes me want to follow along. You know what I mean? Because I've done met you, and now I can see them girls. Now I actually, it makes me want to more so follow along and watch this exterior grow because I've seen firsthand, start. So now it's going to be more of a interesting progression through your grow for me due to this experience. I'm digging this.
well,
You know, and
thank you
that's
for having me on.
yeah, super great to have you out. So what do you get to find in what if you find any time to have any time to do something, what do you like to do in your free time? What do you do with the kids and what do you do for fun?
Well, it usually all rolls back into spending time with kids. I don't know. That's my go-to. When I have any free time, I spend it with my kids. I'm always thinking about something to do. And summertime, we like to go to the lake. We go swim. We shoot guns. We go hiking. We pick up rocks. We start our own. Decoration. So we do a lot of stuff, but most of it's outdoors just because, well, winter traps me. It's I'm stuck indoors because of the wheelchair, and uh, summertime comes, I'm outside as much as possible. I'm usually outdoors from 8 a.m. till about 6 to 7. So try to be outside as much as possible. And now with the battle with homeschooling the kids, that's a whole new subject that I'm trying to intake.
They're giving me I'm fucking my little mic's button there is hidden behind my camera. Sometimes I can't see it. They're
Thank
talking
you.
to you again in chat there, brother.
Yes, thank you, Twisted Roots.
That's my mistake there, MMP, because usually I try to make that. We had such a rocky start there. I didn't make that pronounced to you in the beginning, but I really in these shows try to make the chat like a third person of the show. I kind of really encourage you to follow along and address them as we go along. If they have a question, you know what I mean. It helps the
Right, help
flow of the
people.
show and it helps them get to know you as well.
Yes,
So I'm
hopefully.
sorry for that. I'm sorry for that, brother. I should have took time and made you hook that up, or helped you get that going earlier. Because it's
No, it's.
now you got to go back and rewatch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm just messing with you, brother.
Oh no,
You
it's
gotta go
definitely
back.
something that I don't want to miss.
Hopefully, I've drawn you into the show a little bit. Hopefully, because it's like a two-way street here. Because like some nights, well, a lot of these shows, if you look at them, go like 4 or 5 hours some nights, and I always leave it open for the guests to go absolutely as long as they want to. I've never rushed anybody out or whatever. But there's some nights where like a guest does shoot out early or whatever. Like I do get some business people in here, herbs now, and I've got a few attorneys coming in, and they won't stay long. You know what I'm saying? So there's like usually like an after sesh. So like if there's nights like the guest boils on me earlier, I kind of reach out for chat and see who wants to jump in for like a sesh. We might have one, two, three, no more than four. I don't like no more than four. I cut it off at four, where we sit and we talk about growing our life. So you know that's always open now that you've been on. Uh, you see one of them dead spots, and you're like, "Hey, man, I'm bored. I got my Zoom hooked up. I'll jump in.
Yes.
You're welcome to do so now. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
So hopefully I've drawn you into checking out the show a little bit more nightly.
Oh, dude, this last this last 2 weeks, I started working out the outdoor garden as soon as the snow melted. So as soon as that snow melted, I started bringing in compost. Brought in 4 tons of compost, well, 3 loads of my 4 tons, so 12 tons of compost so far. Even started stocking up some for next year, just so, well, it's got a little bit of breaking down to do, but yes, I love working with my compost just because I like building up the area that I'm growing in. You know, I want to know what's in the flower that I'm smoking. So,
It's it gives this plant, just like I said, gives so many different ways, so many different joys. You know, growing it, tweaking it out, the medicinal aspects. This plant's a giver. It
well,
truly is.
even the therapy, of it. I love just looking at a plant and taking the time to diagnose it. It's even when the plant is, I'm just saying, healthy, just looking at the plant, knowing that you're providing something to just to a plant that's you're sustaining it. I get therapy from it, so instead of going to talk to a counselor, I get out here in the plants, start talking to them all day.
I'm right there with you, brother. There's many times that mistakenly, I always say mistakenly, because you shouldn't take necessarily bad energy to your grow room, but it happens. It happens. But working with them plants have always just kind of melted that. I mean, just a few minutes into staring at them, like you said, kind of just looking them over to see if they're all right, and maybe removing a leaf here and there that you feel might be blocking an area. You tend to lose all the day's aggression or whatever that
Yes.
you may have brought into the room. Just suddenly disappears into the plants. It's always a great time.
Yeah, and I do. I lose a lot of aggression and lose a lot of stress and even anxiety in the garden. It's you get out here and lose all your troubles. I like to
It's
say, grow your own happiness, smoke your worries away.
That's a good one. It's it right there. I like that. Did you happen to catch the 420 thing there?
On 420,
Hopefully, yeah. We
uh,
we got together. It was Smiley Gardens' idea, but we all did it together. I ain't taking no credit for it at all. But we did. It started out to be like a charity thing. We called it "Show 'em your heart." Show 'em your heart instead of your sack was basically the theme of the show for 420 to show them that we could do stuff, make people more conscious that we should be helping each other out. It started out to be for like a charity, but with the COVID going on, we couldn't nail something. It was we did this all within a week.
Oh
Lined
wow.
up everybody guests for 24 hours. I was on for 24 hours, smoked all day, and it was all for to try to get people to do something nice, and on 420 instead of, because it's always such a stereotypical day for stoners, you know what I mean. So the idea was just try to bring some positive light to it, and
That's
it was it was a pretty cool day. But the final charity of it all, we had a hard time nailing that down. So we just, in the end, which worked out better because finding a one for everybody would have been hard. You know what I mean? Something that
right.
everybody agreed with. So in the end, we were just happy with the idea because we didn't need a number to feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? Just the idea was good enough. So we just asked people to do something right, and then if like somebody like yourself came on and had a charity that was near and dear to your heart, and they wanted to throw their weight behind that, that was a cool too, But that was the day we had for Growley, Med Grower One, Pedro's Grow Room, Tanazi. I mean, we weaved tons of people in and out all day long. Hoping it's still in processing right now, but it was a pretty good day. I like to think for the community, just show them that we gave a shit, and hopefully it shook down into actions. But it was really cool. I know everybody that in the community was hanging out, man. I watched the analytics and that shit, and I seen the names MMP all night long. Go through the 24 hours, and some of them would say, "I'm taking a nap. I'd be back in 2 hours," and sure shit, and they'd be back in 2 hours. I think almost everybody that watched that day, I think, tried to go the gauntlet with me during that day. It was pretty cool. I'm sorry you missed that, but hopefully we're going to try to do it again this year. Hopefully, this coming year. Hopefully next year you can
Right on.
be a part of that. The more the merrier. But definitely it's something we it it seemed to touch a lot of people on. So it's definitely something I'm going to plan for next year. So hopefully I can get you on board with that.
All right, yes. Set it up.
Almost
But
bummed that I didn't get you on before because there was a few dry spots where I had to ask some people to stretch it out. So I could have used the help that day. And you're an awesome guy, man. I'm super, and I'm not just talking shit here. And that's the name of the show. But I'm seriously glad I had this one-on-one with you. You know what I mean? You can watch videos all day long, but this side of you and the instant interaction you don't get, and I'm grateful for it.
thank you for having me.
100%,
And
sir.
yes, thank you to everybody that's in the chat right now for stopping in and checking us out. Definitely go check out some of my videos and catch up. We got 8 more days till these girls go outdoors. So getting the
Looking forward to it.
garden, everything prepped, getting the girls getting ready to get transitioned outdoors.
I like everything I'm seeing right now too, and they're all happy. I can see all them leaves shaking just like they should be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's super important to me, that the shaking of the leaves, even though my girls aren't back there doing it right now. They should be. That's
Well,
right there.
even outdoors, just say when I got into flower, I had 12 box fans running last year. Now this year I want to try to invest in trying to get one of those 62-inch fans. I was going to get one 62-inch fan for each because I have pretty much a cage for my patients and then a cage for my own personal plants. So, I'm going to try to get a uh, fan for just that.
So you need
Oh,
to throw yours in with your patients and use that other area for your rec.
right. Well, I have I think it's 64 by like it's a big cage. It's a big cage. I just had to extend on to it right now so I want a certain walkway so I can get to my plants without having to do certain things. And it's just time to upgrade. So that's what I've
Yeah,
been doing.
12 by 12. So you're probably doing okay. You may not have to add too many more in there. I was just pointing out the fact that you could legally do that. That's the way you can utilize that. You can have your 12 rack. They just have to be in a different area. They can't be mixed in with your medical. So if you took your 12 medical and put them in with the other ones, then that area could be your 12 rack.
I
So you
might
could have,
do. I could do 12 indoors.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
try out a
exactly.
indoor process. It's been probably 2 years since I ran indoors, so I've noticed that what I do outdoors is enough to sustain me. So I don't get all greedy about trying to collect as much weed as I can. So
Good night, Mr. Jack Screenstock. Appreciate you for hanging out, brother. That is a good follow right there. I'm sure he probably looked you up because that's the kind of guy he is.
well,
I'm sure he's already in your Instagram right now. If you looked into your shit, I bet you that cat's already there following you. So that'd be
yes,
easy to look back up.
I'll go back after this video's over and go to everybody that's in the chat and be sure to subscribe to everybody.
That's pretty awesome. You don't have to do that, but I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
Oh, well, there's already a few people I'm already subscribed to. I already subscribed to Twisted Roots and
He's a good dude.
obviously a few other people I'd like to.
Oh, feel free to give them shouts out. Shout anybody out you see there that you admire or you followed through the years. It's always good to give them a hey. Hello, dude. I recognize you, brother.
Right? Yeah. So another thing that I'm looking into, we were talking about nutrients, looking into recycle cell. I don't know if you've ever used recycle cell, silica. Last year I used a silica blast. Uh, ran across recycle cell just because it was just something that I was looking up and I've seen other people use it. Uh, ran across them and that's through like build the soil. So using them to fight fungus and disease and strengthen the plants just because these girls are the stalks are already about that big around.
That's pretty awesome. They look like they're beasts, man. I can't imagine that for a start. That's a hell of a start on an outdoor right there.
Dude, I started these 3 weeks before. Usually I started at about a week before Christmas. All right. So this year I started at between November 25th and December 15th. And they've absolutely exploded using the top dressing amendments and just everything that I have. It just exploded. Oh, let me jump on Instagram and I can, yeah.
They said they've already brought all he Chris Mert says we've all sent him requests. I love this community. Like, these people that hang out here are amazing, brother. I'm not even kidding you, man. These It's hard to turn them off. Some of these shows are as long as they are because I look down at that number and I go, man, there's still 44 cool people here hanging out, man. It's hard to go, okay. It's hard to be that party record that goes, all right, everybody go home. Go home. I've had
Right.
enough. I'd almost rather ride it out until they go, Eagle, we've had enough, man. I'm going home, man. Going home. Some nights it's hard to shut it off. I appreciate these people so much, man.
All right, there we go. I got a bunch of people. Mr. Greenpots, thank you. Jack Greenstock, thank you. The American one with, I don't want to,
Achilles.
yeah, thank you. Oh, and 9 other.
All great people. I'm sure everyone that follows you is fucking top notch, man. All the ones I've heard so far are great people in this community.
All right, shut that internet back off so we are steady. Yes, these were all from seed, Twisted. Now, they are all fungus resistant strains, trying to run all for fungus resistant. I ran like Cushy Kush. These are the ones that are not fungus resistant. I got Cushy Kush, Green Crack, Skittles, and I think that's it. Yeah, and then those are not fungus resistant. Uh, oh, sorry, Twisted. Yes, everything else is fungus resistant just because last year I had a little issue with the blight. I think I even asked the Twisted about the blight and possibly being in his area, but I had it kind of bad in my area because of a cottonwood tree, a cottonwood tree that was like right above my house. And it is a blight. Blight's a spore bound, it attracts on your clothes by air, it's something that will attack your plants and have no sympathy. So looked into a lot of things and attacking it with not just one deterrent, but many different deterrents and an eliminator of the amazing Dr. Zymes. So using that as a preventative and if I have to, an eliminator.
Man,
So
I've yet to use either of the above products, to be honest with you. But I have been listening and researching them both a lot lately. And both the Dr. Zymes and the EM1. The EM1 guy was on Embracing Organics the other night. And I couldn't believe how versatile that shit was. I mean, Pedro was talking about he fucking sprayed that shit all over the inside of his barn to disinfect it because the enzymes were fucking eating up all the molds and bullshit. And he was spraying it on his plants and then feeding it into the root zone of his plants. And it just sounded like to be. He's bragged about the product for so long, but to hear him and the guy who is making it converse about the product, I was like, man, it's why don't I have some around just for all these reasons? I mean, he was saying, I'm serious. He was like, man, I sprayed on all kinds of shit just to clean it, my 10 areas, all this, that, just to clean. He said I use it as a general cleaner in my house. I was like, oh shit, that's pretty impressive.
wow. Yeah, I just got it for an eliminator of all the garden headaches, but it's something to look into. So, yes. What else we got to talk about? Uh,
Um, let's see here. We went over your grow. drying, edibles, you know, a little bit of life. Which music taste? What kind of music taste do you like? We're in the late ends. What we were talking about a little bit of our music taste last night though. Like it, Quino's was more of a heavy metal couple. That was a great story. If you didn't catch that, man, what an awesome couple the two are. But what kind of music am I going to catch you either in the car or in the garden listening to?
I listened to a little bit of everything, you know. Listen, just played out news radio to pop, fucking rap, uh, rock, country. I ain't really got a preference, you know. Reggie, you know, it
As long as it's
all,
positive.
yeah, yeah, getting all that positive vibes, soaking them all up, trying to force them back into the plants. Now I've seen, like out what you're saying, music out in the garden. I've seen Twisted run the frequency and stuff like that out in the garden and stuff like that. But you know, that's something that I've thought about looking into.
Oh,
Frequency.
oh, I'm
Thought I'd
definitely. That's a whole different ball game there. I think everything's based on frequency. Everything is based on frequency. There's no think about it. But as far as introducing it into your grow room, yeah, I've seen a lot of positive studies about like letting classical music and stuff just like play in your grow room and
yeah. All
influence your plants.
even all the
It's
way
weird.
down to birds chirping, you know, stuff like that. So I thought about using it at like stressful times. Just say transplants. If you're doing, you know, your uh bending of your plants, or you know, you snap a plant, something like that. I've thought about using it at that times, but you know, I've never really needed any extra help or somewhere to seek any extra help from, you know, breaking a plant and just uh fixing it. So fixing the issue.
I'm curious now that you say that Twisted utilizes frequency. I'm curious to know what frequency he's utilizing. He's possibly setting loose the 7.8 that Mother Earth puts out, which would kind of make sense. You know what I mean? To let play in your grow room. You know, something right around Mother Earth 7.8 frequency. Just kind of let them think or feel like they're in a more home zone
I
instead of
think
sitting
he's
like.
got I think he's got like tapes or something that you know, healing and uh it he played him like last year when he uh ch- messed up his plant with I think it got burnt or something after spraying. But yeah, I seen him use it last year.
He didn't say what yet, but he just said, hell yeah, frequency. I absolutely love the chat being part of the show. I like addressing them. I try to address them as much as possible, but they bring up such good points. You know what I mean? And they miss things that I should be bringing up sometimes. they
Right.
they're super great for covering my ass like that.
Says he teaches frequency, and I'm not a pro. I'm still learning. Hey, yeah, that's what we all do. We're all still learning. At least I am. I don't know absolutely everything, but I love
Only
to
a
reach out.
fool thinks he knows everything. We should be picking something up, even in the simplest things, every day. Something
See, I
simple every day.
I try to make my kids read from 30. I don't care if it's 30 minutes to an hour. If we're in the car, they're reading. Uh, when we're at home, if they're reading, I try to read with them just because, well, most kids don't like to read, so I try to, make that time to, and then I study my books. Right now I'm knocking out teaming with microbes, teaming with nutrients, and teaming with fungi, just so I can, build that knowledge up to have going outdoors and creating my own compost pile. I want to have a little bit of knowledge of creating my own compost pile of the soil food web. So, um,
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of currently addicted to Audible. I've been just powering through a lot of Audible books, and I just enjoy them. I can go through them, I can usually go at 1x or 1.75, sometimes 2x, so I can blow through some books while I'm working. That's one thing like if I'm in the garden. It's nice to listen to teaming with nutrients or teaming with microbes while I'm sitting here playing with the girls. Last few days it's been the intelligent gardener. Today I listened to dirt to soil. But it's
oh,
just they're
that's awesome.
just
I've
think
never even thought about using Audible.
yeah, and it's a nice because you can bookmark parts, and you can go back and listen to them. Especially the teaming with microbes just came out, and I have listened to that thing probably uh, 6 times now. I
Oh,
listen to it in a progressive rhythm too. A little bit faster and faster. So because more and more is sinking in per round, and I don't have to drag it out as long. So and now I'm like, and I'm catching bits and pieces that I missed every time. So I enjoy it that way. And right now, as far as your children go, because of the COVID goes, school children get Audible for free and unlimited titles, so they can be
oh,
listening to books as well.
yes. Right. Yeah, that's something I need to look into.
If you're interested in actually into the Audible, if you shoot me an email to where because I can gift you like your first book. You know what I'm saying? If you're
Oh, yeah.
interested, and I could like Jeff Lowenfeld or any of the ones I just suggested. I could happily gift that to you for your first book.
All right. Yeah,
So if you
I'll
just
definitely. You want it right here, or you want it on Instagram?
shoot it to me on Instagram.
All right.
Unless you want
Yeah.
everybody to have it, and you can dish it out now. But it'd be better if you shot it to me on Instagram, though.
Yes. Yeah. As soon as we're done. But
Is there one you prefer there out of the three or four I just listed there? I got the
probably
Jeff Lawrencefeld. You want that one?
teaming with microbes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll send you that one.
Sweet. Yep, that's what I'm working on right now. So
Cool
I
deal.
might
Man,
have to. What's
I
that?
can't believe I got 3.5 hours out of you, brother. That's respectable. That's
Hey,
respectable.
thank
I
you.
I appreciate that. Sometimes I wonder, I do wonder every night, uh, how long are some of them going to go for? It's a hard judge. Some people, and this is another thing, is some people want to come on beforehand if and talk a little bit before, and it's hard. I don't even like to send them numbers a lot of times until like
I
the last
never,
minute.
I never set up. I've never set up Zoom, so that took us a minute to, figure it out. And
That was my fault, and I've been doing this, I've been trying to pick up on little things I'm doing wrong. When I'm sending out invitations and shit. Time zone was I learned big lesson on time zones on 420 because I had more than a couple people that I thought were scheduled in at one time and they popped in like 3 hours later. which would have been the time I did stupidly asked for but never considered
Oh,
their
oh,
time zones. So now in invitations, I try to make that clear, and confirmations. I try to do confirmations now, just a friendly reminder for them, and a little bit of breath for me that I know that everybody's showing up and all that. In Zoom today, because that one's bit me a couple of times. The last few days, I contacted a couple other people too, and they're like, "Okay, sounds good. How are we doing this?" I'm like, "Oh shit, that would have been a good lead." That'd probably been a good lead to start there. So that was my fault, MMP. I am totally,
I'm
totally
glad that
sorry
we
about
just
that.
figured that out just because, well, everything's been amazing conversation and journey so far.
Oh, there is one thing, and I'm surprised that I can't see my chat. That they haven't reminded me. I can't, and I forget who reminded me last night. Sorry, guys. But I asked everybody sooner or later. I'm steaming rolling on this. This is 38, and I think right around 100, I'm gonna do the old like radio soundbite cheesy thing. So if you could, I know there's a swear in there, and I'm not sure. I don't. It doesn't sound like that's normally in your vocabulary. But if not, you can leave it off. The first one, the first one anyway. But could you possibly give me my like all-time radio sound bite? I am MMP Nation's Creations, and I am on the fucking Talkin Shit with Eagle show. Can you give me my sound bite there?
Oh, right now?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right. This
It's
is,
more fun spontaneous. I do this to everybody, so don't
oh
feel
no.
bad. This
Oh no,
happens
you're
every
fine.
night.
I am MMP's H creation and I am on with fucking shit talk or fucking talking shit with Eagle and definitely stop in to his Instagram and back on these lovely community chats.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. At some point, I'm stringing all of them together, all 100, just one right after another, and short little video celebrating 100. I think.
Okay, that's a good idea. Good idea. But you wanting to
And
wrap it
got
up?
it.
Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna. I gotta do some trimming myself and do a little bit of work I've been neglecting. But you do have an open invitation, sir, to stop in any night that, like I said, afterwards. Usually, if I might, if it were another night and I weren't so behind on some of my chores, I would definitely be going rolling till probably usually around 4:20 is usually where I cut it off, and seems to be a good time to last call. But tonight I've got a stack of these here pots that need to be filled, and them there pots need to be washed and then refilled. So uh,
Yes, chores need to be done. I know all
I'm gonna
about that.
I'm gonna tap out on you tonight. But I do hope that you take me up on popping back in.
Oh,
If you're up
dude.
late one night and you want to pop in, you're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Oh, yes, definitely. I will. And thank you again.
One last round of shameless shout outs for yourself, because these people have seen it, but this episode will actually double, by tomorrow.
All
We get a
right.
whole nother wave. So go ahead and shout it out to somebody that might watch it later or just catch the end of this, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
What do you mean? People that I want them to go see?
No, well, sure, if you want to tack that on there. Just your shout outs, your Instagram, your YouTube.
Oh yeah.
If you want to give
Def-
shout outs to somebody else, that's absolutely cool too.
yes. Go over to Instagram, MMP's Nature Creation. I'm on there on the daily and hourly, usually fucking inserting and letting people on, confirming them. And the reason why I got it set on private is just because one, I don't want anybody locally around me on my Instagram, just because I know about thieves and at least my area. So yes, YouTube and Instagram, MMP's Days Creation, and hope to see you around, guys. 2020 is here. So thank you to everybody that's definitely stopping in, checking us out.
I appreciate you, brother. And like I said, you're welcome to pop in. I hope you start checking out the show, frequent it. And I appreciate that. And I hope everybody else follows you and it follows your YouTube as well. Sounds like there's a lot of great info over there to be, you know, watched and retained. And hopefully you'll drop a lot more videos on your outdoor. Keep us well updated on that.
Oh
Seeing how
yes.
we've got to see all these lovely ladies from pre outdoor, I'm sure would be more than interested to see how they're finished up. So please keep us updated.
Right now, only thing I'm doing outdoors is cleaning out 3x3 holes and lining them with alfalfa, pulverized alfalfa meal. I just dropped a video on YouTube the other day about it. But just digging out holes, and the only thing else that I done was I built a 8x6 door for the cage door. That's it. So that'll be up on YouTube soon.
All right, brother. I am going to, well, I'm going to actually kick you out. And then
Hey,
I'm going to, that's just what I like to do. I like to, you know, take my minute to thank everybody that's gone. There's 34 left, and I'm going to run through this chat, and I'm going to thank every name that's in here for tuning in tonight and say my goodbyes.
well,
So
thank
I
everybody
appreciate
again.
you, and come back anytime, brother.
Okay, thank you. See ya, and everybody be safe.
Have a great night. Have good tomorrow, brother.
All right, you too, man.
Peace.
See ya.
MMP Nations Creations. That was an awesome interview. I love doing this. I do. Selfishly, I guess I'm doing this for myself to meet these awesome people, but it is amazing that you guys tune in for this every night. So I'm at all. I can't. I got to pull up to look at the chat on my phone because I think my browser was causing the sound problem earlier. So I'm just going to spin through on my phone, try to thank as many as I can. Twisted Roots, Chris Mertz, Michelle F. Iverson, the American one, Chris Mertz, Red Setter Farms. I know I seen you earlier. Jack's Greenstock, Mr. Green's Pots, Mr. Green Nugs, UK SIF 420. There's getting to be so many awesome people that do this every night. Dank Grower. Let's spin through here. My daughter Lexi, Twisted Roots, Trey Valone. That's an every night name. Light It Up Again, Tim, who's got a new video on his YouTube as well. Check that out, his update. So many great people. The American one, if I missed him, I am so sorry because I'm a fan of that dude as well. Super cool. Sergeant Pepper, thank you for popping in. Please check out his YouTube and all his tech stuff. Find him on Instagram as well. JD's, that's the second night I've seen you in the chat. I think that's pretty damn awesome. You're pretty awesome for tuning in. Appreciate that shit. John Boy, there's a name I recognize every night. I'm sorry I didn't see that earlier, but thank you for tuning in. If you happen to watch this again, I appreciate everybody. Let's see here, who in the heck am I missing? Because nobody deserves to be missed. Absolutely nobody. Shark Pulley 989. Thank you for tuning in, sir. I appreciate you. Sir Sticky, that's a pretty cool name. Thank you, sir. Aldridge 25, there's a regular. I appreciate you. You have a great night as well. Getting down there, at least on this device. So many cool people. I think I might have got them all. Oh, Jill Carter was here. I didn't recognize that from my earlier chat, but that's as far back as I go. I didn't see Tara Wilson, but I'm sure she'll be popping in at some point. Thank you for your support as well. In fact, I think she's just changed jobs and just can't tune in at the time anymore. But every view, every one of you, I appreciate 100%. You guys know the deal. Help somebody out. It's very rewarding. Random acts of kindness change lives. I've been on both sides of that. More sides on the being random acts of kindness side. People helping me out, which has made me want to give back so much. So I ain't just talking shit there. That's very true. So with that said, you guys have what's left tonight. Have an amazing night and an even better tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. Get some rest for that next new week. And of course, I will be here tomorrow with Evolve 420. Will be my guest tomorrow night, which I am sure that it's going to be another great night. So please tune in. Please thumbs up. I can't believe I'm saying that. Please subscribe. And if you tell somebody else about the show, that would be pretty amazing as well. Thank you. Peace.